What's going on, everyone? What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Relentless Purpose Podcast. I know it's been a while since you've seen a regular episode like this, and we've kind of been focusing on TKO with the boxing, man. But I had to get back in here and get another regular purpose driven episode for you. And of course, I am your host, Cam. Of course, I'm not joined by my guy, Coach Miller, today, but he sends his good graces, man. But I got a treat for everyone today. You definitely want to tune in and listen to what this good brother has to say, man. Him and I linked up outside of church one afternoon, and we just kind of spoke, man, and God led that conversation. Hearts in the same place, purpose driven, the same place, man. Just trying to help the youth and give back to the generation to create a better world. And without further ado, man, I'm talking about the one and only Dr. Brandon Crooms, man. How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm doing great, man. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. As I said, you heard me correctly. Yes, he is Dr. Brandon Crooms, man, professor at Trinity University here in San Antonio. I know some of y'all that follow the page probably had the opportunity to see the pictures I posted where he was gracious enough to allow me to come speak to his class before the semester ended, man. We had a good discussion. They were very in tune, asked a lot of questions. A great crack class, and I definitely enjoyed that topic, man. But we're not here to talk about me today. We're kind of here to talk about you and let you elaborate on some of the things, some of the big opportunities that you have coming up in the city, man. But before we dive into the 2025 Special Ops Conference, just let everybody know, man, who is Dr. Crooms?
Man, I'm a child of God first and foremost. I'm his son. I'm just trying to live a life that he has destined for me. But as you can probably see and tell from what I just said, I am a man of faith, and so everything that I do is driven by my faith in God. Um, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't know everything. I'm not perfect, and in fact, I will boast in my weakness. But I do know who gives me the strength to keep going. So many opportunities for me to give up. So many opportunities for me to stop what I'm doing. But um, the man himself, it gives me the fuel to keep going. And so, yes, I'm a professor. I can give you some titles for those who may want to know. I'm a professor at Trinity University. I teach sports management. Been doing that for a few years now, and I enjoy it. I love to be in a position to make an immediate impact in the lives of athletes, not just athletes, but college students. I think that age, the age between 18 to about 21, 22,
Yeah.
is such an important time in your development. So much you're learning, so many opportunities, so many things thrown at you. Um, and so I just count it an honor and a privilege, and a part of my purpose is knowing that I've been sent in this type of work, not just to teach them, but also to encourage them, to empower them, to provide some case of direction.
Mhm.
And that's what I love to do. I'm also a coach. I don't coach a specific sport, but I like to say that I'm almost like a life coach. I like to see people succeed.
Life is a sport in itself, man.
Hey, come on. Yes, you're not lying about that. And that's how I approach it too. When I speak to people, especially for those who are athletes or former athletes, I love to use sports analogies because what better example to use than sport in itself to really give some type of guidance and instruction. So I love to coach, and I see that being hand in hand with not just teaching, but also mentorship. I'm also a mentor.
Yeah.
And so I find myself in positions and places where I mentor college students and also youth, high school, middle school. My work, my research is really big centered around youth and also college students. And so I count it also an honor to not only um, teach it, but also embody it and also engage in the research in that type of way. Um, and lastly, I'm just a regular guy. I'm very ambitious. I love to encourage people. Somewhere in my, in the past, I also did some personal training, and so my passion is also was the same. I love to see people go from point A to point B, just to kind of walk them through the journey, just give them some pointers here and there. If I see something that they don't see, let them know so that way they could be prepared. And that's what I do. That's what I do.
I got you, man. That's major, man. That's major. A lot of people don't have that heart of service. Basically, that you just basically broke down, man. That's basically what it is, man. Just a heart of service, and just trying to help others. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You use your blessing to be a blessing to everyone else, man. But I guess the biggest question for me, not just me, but everybody else probably want to know is, how did you find your passion, and how
yeah,
did you find your purpose? Within that passion. I know I kind of spoke briefly on it, man. We were talking, and I know one of the things that really drawn myself to you was just the fact that we were relatable in a lot of things,
yeah.
especially the love of trying to give back and help the youth, be it elementary, middle school, or for your situation, college. I mean, because
Right.
they're still youth.
Yeah,
They're still, yes, they are legally grown by 18, but man, in the summers and spring break, Christmas break, they go home to mom and dad. You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
they're still youth. So how did you, figure out your passion for doing what you're doing and being purpose driven?
Yeah, I would say persistence. I think that people discover their purpose at all stages of their life, so it's never too late to
Yeah.
discover that. I don't want to ever discourage anybody by even sharing my story. I just hope that they find inspiration in that. But for me, it was definitely persistence, and I would say at a young age, I was just always curious, and with that, you're gonna fail a lot, and so I've learned quickly not to be afraid to fail. And there's times where you have hesitations here and there, and sometimes you think you walk into wisdom, but really you walk into fear.
Yeah.
But so every now and then I have to break through it and just and fail and learn from it. It's one thing that you fall and never give up. I mean, you never get back up.
Hmm.
Um, but there's a difference in failing and just not doing anything with it versus failing and learning from it and actually going forward. And I like to call it failing forward.
Yeah.
Uh, and so just all about perspective. So that, but also um, I was open, to, and wasn't I was okay with taking like calculated risks. So being open to what is presented before you, because you never know. Never knew that I want to be a college professor, uh, and an opportunity opened up for me while I was in undergrad as an undergraduate student to partake in some type of research program called the Ronald McNair program over the summer.
Mm.
The summertime, that's our break. We want to have
Yeah.
fun,
Yeah. Yeah.
connect with friends, do things that we want to do.
Yeah.
But, they, with a little bit of persuasion of, getting a stipend, that also helps too. But also, I just was open to just trying something different. So I stayed on campus, partner was mentored by a professor, and was able to establish and create a research question where we actually dive into real life research, not just literature review or reading, which is one component of it, but we actually got into the labs within the sports science, which was my degree.
Gotcha.
And so that opened the door for me to present at a conference, and just I love what I saw, connected with some people, and I was open to going to graduate school. And then one thing led to another. It was like a domino effect. I found myself a college professor. And so, man, it's just accumulation of a lot of different things, a lot of conversations, a lot of pep talks, a lot of people who've already been through the ropes, and a lot of trial and error. And so, persistence, not being afraid to fail so you can fail forward, but also being open to whatever life presents, and take advantage of it, seize the moment.
Yeah, I got you, man. That's great. That's great advice right there too, man. For anybody that's trying to figure out life, you'll never figure out life, man. But sometimes, kind of like I told your class, man, life is a cruel teacher. It
Come
gives the
on.
exam first and then the lesson second.
So true.
So sometimes you learn via your trial and error.
Yeah.
You'll also be open to listening to other people's stories to help guide you down the path that you're trying to go through, man. Nobody has become successful in life by themselves. I don't care what they tell you. Nobody has become successful in life by themselves. We all need help. We all need some kind of direction. So, you being willing and wise enough to be open to different ideas and different opportunities, help mold you into where you are today. And not only mold you to that, man, that's spilling over into your everyday life for you to give back.
Right.
Pay it forward. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely big time, man. But I like how you spoke, how you got to speak at a conference. That is a great segue to head right into big exciting news that you have coming up on June 7th, man. I'll let you do that whole introduction and all that, man, and tell what it is. I'm still upset that last year I wasn't able to attend because we had a 7-on-7 tournament out of state. I believe we might have been out of state at that one, man. But this year, I'll be right there front and center, man. So without further ado, man, June 7th, tell everybody what you got going on, sir.
Yes, June 7th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. We have a special and exclusive event even after from 12 to 1. We have the Special Ops Athletics Development Conference. That's it, Special Ops Athletics Development Conference, and it's free for the community. It's open to the community. If you are a student athlete, no matter what age, the target age is 12 to 18. But all youth and youth athletes are welcome. If you are a parent of youth or parent of student athlete, this is definitely for you. And if you're a coach or leader within athletics, it could be a coach, an athletic director. You may be a fitness trainer or someone who works with athletes. There's also a conference for you too. And so you may be wondering why how can you have a conference with so many different people? So the conference is centered around developing youth athletes. And for those who know who works with athletes, a big part of developing them is not just teaching them, but also those who influence them, their ecosystem. And so this whole conference is to empower, to educate, to inspire, and to equip all those who help athletes so that way these athletes can flourish, they can thrive in their sport, outside their sport, and they can also get some more direction and may potentially find out what their purpose
Yep.
at the conference.
Yep.
Who knows? But we just want to help them get in that direction to do that. So from 12 to 8, we have a keynote. We have an awesome host who's also a podcaster. We have a keynote who is a former NFL athlete from San Antonio. We have breakout sessions for all three populations: the student athlete, the parent, and also the coach. I have an athletic director that's coming and fired on fire, ready to empower these leaders in sports. He's an athletic director for a district here in San Antonio. I have a career coach and a career director of career services at a college here in San Antonio. He's going to speak to the student athletes, talking to them about how to find their story, using storytelling to build their confidence so they can be confident in communicating, but also teaching them about emotional intelligence and how that's important in sport and out of sport. And lastly, for the parents, I got something for you. You may be maybe having a hard time trying to motivate your student athlete to make some connections with academics and sport, or helping them be motivated for school. This person, I have an academic coach that's going to give you all the nuggets, all his wisdom on how to prep them for college. And if you have a student that may not want to go to college, this is for you too, because he's going to also give them, you guys on supportive strategies as they're trying to navigate through middle school, high school, and academics. And then lastly, I have a panel. This panel is going to be fire. I have a branding and coach, and along with other panelists, where we're going to talk about entrepreneurship, empowering people to not look at what they just think that they're just good at, but look at it as maybe an opportunity to generate income, even right now, no matter what age they are. And so just so the entrepreneurship, communication skills, branding, and also identity development for the adults. Parents, if there are any parents out there that sometimes they recognize that they are living their dream to the athlete, and they may have stopped and paused, like, wait a minute, am I putting too much pressure on my athlete because I want them to be not just like me, but even better than me?
Mm.
That's an opportunity to do some reflection about who you are and how you perceive yourself, your identity. So I'm hoping to have somebody on the panel to give us um, some some nuggets, some encouragement, but also the direction for the adults that may be trying to live their life through their youth. And
Mm.
so that's going to be it. And lastly, we have a networking session. And I'm excited about this because this is where everybody gets involved. This is where also it's the what do you call it? The icing on the cake, uh, where we get a chance to interact, engage with the speakers, those professionals that's in the building that you don't see on stage, but they're sitting there watching. This is time to network, mingle, connect. And then this is what it's all about. It's about community. And that's what the Special Ops Athletics Development Conference is about. It's building community, building a support system for everyone to thrive in wherever they do.
Boy, I tell you what, that parents living through your kids, half of San Antonio might need to sign up for that one, man. Shoot, I know sometimes we wish we could still relive the glory days and all that good
Yeah.
stuff, man. But so I guess my question, which a lot of people are probably thinking too, is what made you come up with the idea of some kind of event like this, and then not also to come up with it, but to actually do the work and the groundwork to put it together, because this is not an easy process.
No.
With all the different areas you said this conference will touch,
Yeah.
it was a lot of people that you had to reach out to, and
Yeah.
you might have gotten a couple no's, but
Yeah.
with it being part of your purpose as the key of what we're talking about here today, you were persistent and you kept pushing to put it all together. So my first question again would be, how did you even come up with this idea, and how were you able to all piece it together to go into year two of it? Correct. Last
Yes.
year was the first year, right?
Yes. This is year 2. And if I haven't mentioned already, it's going to be at Trinity University, which is where I teach, which I'm pretty excited about. While I'm doing this, was that youth athlete that was looking for guidance. I wanted to be better. Um, I was open to instruction. Um, wasn't the best athlete, but coaching and mentorship was something that I value even at a young age. And I also see where a lot of young athletes are falling through the cracks because they're depending so much
Mm,
on something that is so fragile and anything can happen,
that's good.
where that their whole dream can go on crumbles in it, and they're left wondering who are they,
Yeah, yeah.
and have no support system within that. And so building some type of community that will help support them, even if they go to the next level, that can stand by them and also mean well and want the best for them. But also for those who may be the last person on the bench, maybe their times on the track is not as fast, but they want to stay in that environment, and they want to be in the opportunity, take advantage of the opportunities where they can also learn and grow while being an athlete, and also develop as being a scholar. This is it. I truly believe that this could be the solution to a lot of problems that we see within the athletics community. There's a lot of what is it, dog eat dog
Yes.
mentality culture here. I think we can be a lot stronger when we are together. We can still enjoy the competitiveness of the sport, competitiveness of just being an athlete, but it doesn't start with just the athletes. We need to do that as adults, and the youth need to see the adults do that as well. So that's why I open it up for adults as well, so they can see that their coach, that their athlete, that their parent love them so much that they're coming to a conference to learn about how they can better serve them.
Yes.
That's why I do what I do, man. I always see myself in it. I do see myself. This is part of my purpose and call is to be the solution, and even in this area. But also, this is another component of teaching and mentorship, and it doesn't stop there. I'm hoping to stay connected with the people that's going to be in attendance through registration. I want to stay connected, send out emails, and provide other opportunities where we come together before next year, if all works out.
Nah, for sure, man, for sure, man. But I love how it's so community oriented, and the whole focus is really community empowerment, basically, man. Um, it takes a village.
Yeah.
It takes a village, man, and I think it'll definitely. Of course, I know the young athletes, young student athletes, young students. Even if you're not an athlete yet, and you having thoughts about joining your local team, or even if it's just a hobby, man, and you might one day want to become a GM or part owner or whatever,
Yes.
what have you. You could benefit from it, man. But I really think just listening to, you really break that down. I think the parents, more so than anything, could really benefit from a conference like this. And
Yeah.
I say that because, the world is changing every day.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of things that our parents taught us and instilled in us. Not saying that they're wrong, but I'll just use the term out of date, right? Like it was, the principles are still there, all of that still add up and matter, but sometimes you have to go a step further because this world will swallow you up. It will eat you alive if you're not equipped to
Yes.
adapt to what's happening, what I'm saying, in today's society. So I really think that part of it alone, man, will be very huge in the conference, man. And I think the biggest, even though if they don't come to the conference, word of mouth is your greatest marketer.
Mm.
So you'll never know what nugget might be dropped in this conference or how many lives that one nugget may touch. And I go back to when I spoke to your students. There's a couple things I dropped on them that they had never heard of, but when I broke it down and to the terms I broke it down from,
Yeah.
um, it kind of made sense and it hit a little different.
Yeah.
And I think that can be very pivotal in a lot of people's lives. It can touch a lot of lives. So this conference, man, even though it's just in San Antonio, June 7th, I want to say it's everyday life, June 7th, until because
Yeah.
it's no telling how big this could grow. It's no telling where this could go. It's no telling how many lives this can touch, man. It's no telling how many hearts that this can
Yeah.
get right and get pure
Yeah.
and clear up. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very big deal, man. Which is why I was glad that we could get this scheduled to really discuss and really kind of put that out there, man, to
Right.
some people who's not been, noted or alerted to what's going on and what's happening up there at Trinity with you, man, on June 7th.
Yeah.
But I guess with you knowing all this information and having to make pivots in life and obviously you didn't get to where you are without making some kind of mistakes and you had to learn from it, man. So
Yeah.
to the young student athlete, as we know, social media is brainwashing
Yes.
these kids,
Yes.
and social media is taking the world by storm in the wrong way, right?
Yeah.
So standing where you are today, if Brandon had to look at the 15-year-old him,
Mm.
what would he tell himself and what would he do differently?
Yeah. This could be very personal, but I'm gonna be transparent, man. I love what you do, and I see it as a form of just reaching people. And I'm just gonna use a little bit of, even me, younger Brandon, but also even now, I have to remind myself is, um, don't be so hard on yourself.
For sure.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Um, Slow down. You know, it's okay. It's good that you have dreams, but trust God's timing. God has a way of leading you to the right people. He has a way of communicating with you, and um, be confident in the way God teaches you how He communicates with you. How
Hmm.
He communicates with you can be very different the way He communicates with somebody else.
For
And when
sure.
you
For sure.
grab a hold of that early, it will save you a lot of time, a lot of heartache, and your relationship with the Father will grow even more. And so just take your time. Don't be hard on yourself, and just build on your relationship with God, and trust in how He speaks to you.
I love that, man, because that definitely. I didn't know that was gonna be your answer, but with me laying out there with social media, that's definitely how it works.
Yeah,
A lot of these people, man, they look at it, they follow all these pages, all these celebrities, and they looking at this, that, and the third, and not understanding that half of that. Well, I'm even gonna say half of it, man. 85% of that stuff is a facade. Like
yeah.
it's social media is not a real place.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
but it's kids out here 4 or 5 years old with a phone walking around seeing everything on TikTok and believing everything they're seeing.
Right,
So it's a lot of sometimes, man, where we have to, even if that's not our kid, man, if we're in that circle, if we're entrusted enough to be in that circle or that
right.
community, um, it's important for us to drop that knowledge and give back. Not overstep. Obviously, we all have to learn and grow on our own. You can't force somebody to take um, advice that's not wanted, but um, it's a lot of kids out here that are hungry for knowledge and things like that, man. And
Yeah,
and, and I believe a platform like this, a conference like yours, man, and I know you outside of the conference.
yeah,
I know that I'm sure to be one or two kids, man, that'll really be touched by what you're doing. You'll connect with them, and who knows where that relationship might go.
yeah,
Outside of just you being a professor, that could be just a minority needing another young minority to look up to and need some advice to go through this world, man. Um, so with that, man, with me mentioning advice, I guess since you are on the younger side and being a college professor and all that,
yeah.
what advice would you give anyone that's graduating? Whether it be, we can start with the high school senior, taking that next step forward, whether it be military, trade school, college. What advice would you give them? And then what advice would you give a recent college grad?
Hmm. Love the question. Everybody that you mentioned that falls within that is going through some type of transition. So I believe anybody can relate to this. And it's highly related and connected to even the theme of this conference. Stay connected. Stay connected to people. Um, you never know how relationships can evolve and be utilized to form to something else that could be great. Sometimes it's all in who you know.
Yeah.
The theme of the conference is revitalizing real connection through sport. And so a lot of the sessions that I mentioned before and described is all centered around communication, building relationship. Going back to your last question about social media, we've grown disconnected. We've grown desensitized
Yeah.
to natural human senses, and we have become very self-sufficient because of the information that we can quickly get in our hands. And what used to be like the forefront, or what used to be the model of building relationship with the sport, we even see that sometimes within youth athletes, is they're growing disconnected from their friends. They rather play video games
Mm.
against their friends or somebody that they don't know, um, through the video game,
Mm.
and have no real conversation, real interaction, don't know how to initiate a conversation. So definitely stay connected to people. um, Find your community. Know that you can grow from community, and it's okay that you're an introvert. It's also important that you find somebody that can sharpen you. Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure, man. Man, boy, it's so many different directions we can go with this topic right here, man. But I
Yeah,
guess I guess with you being a college professor, right?
yeah.
I gear this towards, since it is graduation season. What's the biggest struggle or the biggest hurdle that you see freshmen, coming in? Because obviously, the class I went to, you had some freshmen and sophomores and all that stuff. And they were on the younger side. So, what's some of the biggest struggles and um, trials, I guess you can say, do you see them facing? Let's just say within that first 3 months, away from home, lifestyle's different. Nobody's really waking you up to go to class. You don't have a, you're not answering to a bell. You've got to be in class on time, stuff like that, man. So what's the biggest, some of the biggest struggles you see them and trying to adjust to?
Man, can I give you a couple?
Yeah, go ahead. We got plenty of time, bro.
Okay. One, definitely time management. Um, and that goes across the board, whether you're a former student athlete in high school or just a student that want to focus just on academics. Um, it's a little different. You don't have your family, a family member making sure that you wake up on time when you hit that snooze button. You don't have anyone telling you when to study. Um, your class periods are throughout the day.
Yeah,
It's not in just one part of the day. You may have a class 8 a.m. Your next class not till 12, and you may feel tempted to sleep through that in between when that's the perfect time to study and prepare for the next class. Also, eating well. That's something that is important too.
I ain't think about. I was a college athlete, so I didn't think about that part. I didn't have to worry about that. I was eating good.
Yeah, yeah, and we begin to see it even once it's all over because those same eating habits we continue,
Yes,
but we may not be as active because of the high
yes,
demand of practice. So we start seeing things change in our body. Like, what happened?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Metabolism starts to slow down a little bit.
yeah.
That's one thing. But also, I've noticed that um, young people at that age coming in, freshmen, is sometimes they have a hard time, difficult time finding their community, finding their sense of significance or group. And so that sense of belonging is is high. Wanting to be in a place where they feel belong, so that sometimes they find it hard to find that, and they can find it in the wrong places, so they may be isolated, especially if you're um, a minority at the school,
Hmm.
and you may experience some culture shock, and that ties into the next one, which is mental health.
Mm.
Not understanding the way you feel. What's the words of what is the terms for it? What do I need to do? How do I seek help? Or what are the resources on campus? And so the anxiety, the questions, and you have personal things that's going on, things back at home, may affect your academics, and so it can be like a downward spiral effect. There'll be a domino effect if it's not adjusted quickly. And another thing, this is the last thing, is um, being able to identify the problem and responding quickly,
Hmm.
being proactive. And
Hmm.
so students may find themselves not doing well after midterms. By that time, it's almost too late. And so you didn't utilize the office hours, you didn't ask questions, you wasn't proactive, you didn't respond quickly, you didn't initiate, and so by that time it's too late now, and before you know it, you're flunking the class and you're academic probation in the second semester.
Mm.
So now you got to speed, you got to keep it going, you got to stay focused, and you make it now it's a little bit harder. um,
Pressure building up.
and I've been there.
Me
I've
too.
been there,
Me
even
too.
as a college professor. And when I was in grad school, when I was working on my master's degree, I was in academic probation, and so I had to learn even that way. And that was my first time actually living outside the state. And so you can imagine just a lot to navigate, a lot of things that you're going through. It's very important that I believe um, that students really seek out help early.
I got you, man. I guess the last one we'll kind of touch on, man, is uh, with us both being in Texas here. One of the biggest things, and because you're at a smaller university,
Yes.
but that degree is still going to be a bachelor's of whatever, regardless of whether you're a Trinity or you at University of Texas. But one of the biggest myths and misunderstandings are brainwashed situations is everyone here thinks, oh, I've got to go D1, I've got to go
Mm.
P4, I've got to go, Texas, I've got to go Texas A&M, I've got to go LSU, whatever, whatever, right? Um, so just kind of stress the importance of it's not about where you go, it's about what you do with the opportunity. that you're given, regardless of where you are.
Yes. Yes. Definitely have your options open because you never know where you land. And there's so many other factors that you got to consider. It's not even about the highest division, because you may be at the highest division, you get no burn, no playing time. Not even just that, they may not even have your major, so
Right.
you just in it just for the sport, and you have no opportunity to work your way up, and that there goes your experience. And so I think that you really have to consider so many different things. Obviously, the financial assistance scholarships, um, the where the university is, where it's held, the city. Um, Learn about the majors. Like if you know what your major, if it's something that you're interested in, make sure that's on the forefront as well. And it's okay if you don't, because there's still time to figure that out over time. But also, just you gotta sometimes you just gotta get on the campus and get that feel, see what it's like, allow your mind to just fantasize on like what can you do here on campus, what impact can you have here on campus, what are some organizations that you see that you can be connected to that you can also benefit as well.
Yes.
And so I would say don't get too caught up on just the division, no matter even what some of those coaches say to you. I hate to say it that way, but we got somebody got to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, a
know,
lot of they know how to polish a turd out here, boy.
they know how to do it. They have a job too.
Yeah,
So I say this for the students and the parents. Ask questions. Don't get so eager and so hungry to the point to where you're going after the first offer. You have to look around. You have to look at your options that works best for you and your family.
for sure. For sure, man. Well, man, we definitely appreciate you, giving us a little bit of your time today, man, to come on with us, man. I know we've been talking about this for a couple months,
Yeah,
so I'm glad we were able to come on here and do it, man. And I would definitely love to have you back on after the
let's go.
conference.
All right.
We try to get one or two student athletes and a parent or so to kind of tap in with us, man, and just have a good old discussion about what was said, some things that were taken in and were really learned and that pricked the heart a little bit, that made it provoked a little change or provoked purpose, like you said. And we just kind of use this as another way to even push the conference out some more, even post date of the conference, man.
Yes.
So definitely, man, appreciate you, Dr. Crooms, for joining us today, man, and we'll definitely get into it soon.
Yes. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. But man, I appreciate everybody tapping in for today's episode. And once again, he said that is June 7th at Trinity University. Make sure you are tapping into that, man. You can be, if you get on the lookout and go to our IG, all our socials, we will have the flyer posted there with Dr. Crooms tagged. So if you have anything you want to reach him directly, you can do so. But again, man, that is going to be June 7th at Trinity University, man. As always, I am your boy Cam. I'm coming at you with another one. Be relentless in everything you do. Walk in purpose.